Happy Saturday. Look what I discovered. Dude, this is the reason why this is shaped like this. I'll show you. Okay, see, what I used to do was I take one and then I put it here, right? Okay. But look, I'm a fool. Why did I not think of this before? Look at that. Now instead of getting it one by one, slide and then grab as much as I can. Oops, I only grabbed 4. Also, happy to report that these pimple patches that I got weeks ago, a month ago, I've been using it on this. That pimple is like under the skin. So what I'm just trying to do is avoid having to scratch it accidentally, and these have been really helpful. It does claim to like suck up the pimple stuff, but even if it doesn't, it protects me from itching it.
When your parents died, you let them go into the afterlife. But when your children die, you keep them alive in your heart.
I'll make you proud. I promise you, I'll live a good life.
And you know what? Sometimes that's all you have to do to make your parents proud. Is to live a happy life. Dude. This freaking show. Okay, I just watched like... This is where I left off the last time I was folding, and that's why, you know, I'm doing English sub so I can fold, I mean, you know, watch while folding, and then it gives me this. Wouldn't it be great if in real life you can have this, and then in a snap of a finger, ta-da! Okay, another task for me today, aside from the laundry and the folding, is to edit the video that I took of our trip to Fami, Laguna. Okay, I eventually went with the halftime. But I almost forgot my glasses, which I will clean off ruggedly. Okay. I gotta talk to you about a book later when I get back. Okay, the book that I was referring to is called Submit by Sonnet, and this is a pseudonym. And basically, this book is about... This is non-fiction. Okay, so she is talking about her experience with being a submissive. Like, you know, in those kinds of relationships, there's like a dominant person and then there's a submissive. Yeah, so she likes to submit, hence the title of the book. And it's very interesting for me to read this because I have never had like an insight as to what kind of things run in the minds of people who like being humiliated, embarrassed, demeaned, all those things. I really find it so peculiar why they find it so arousing, these things that would normally get a person to feel dehumanized, you know. And I am currently, I think, 46% through, 42%. And the things that, you know, this started back when she was in childhood, like even just the fairy tales, like, of course not sexually, but she already has these feelings of wanting to be like punished. Okay, for example, I read The Little Princess and imagined myself stripped of my fine clothes and forced to live as a servant in the garret. I pictured myself as a chimney sweep in The Water Babies, or as Bonnie and Sylvia at the brutal mercy of Miss Slycarp in The Wolves of Willoughby Chase. In a Dickens phase, I fancied myself as an orphaned Oliver Twist or David Copperfield, destined for the workhouse. Like, she wanted... See, there... And even went through a brief period of imagining myself helplessly bound to a wheelchair like Pollyanna or Colin in The Secret Garden. And then it developed into like when she was a teenager. Basically, what she likes is being humiliated, and if she is not humiliated, she doesn't get off. And I was actually kind of nervous because she met with this one dominatrix, and she's worried because she was hoping that this dominatrix, they were doing it in the bathroom. She was hoping that this dominatrix doesn't have the fetish of asking the submissives to lick the toilet lid of the public toilet. My stomach has literally churned multiple times in this book, but most especially that thing with licking the public toilet. Like, even just thinking about it. But you get the picture, right? And she likes being caned. And there is only one thing I can come up with, like the rationale for why she is aroused this way. And I'm thinking there is some kind of imbalance or dysfunction with the brain chemistry, that instead of getting hurt, the pain is releasing endorphins. And that is why she finds these things, the humiliation, the pain, pleasurable. So there's no other reason aside from the dysfunction. Although there is also these questions in my brain, like, this is different from, say, pedophilia. Like, why are some people attracted to babies or young children, and why they get aroused with those kinds of people, young people, right? This is different from that because this is, of course, this is like between consensual adults. But still, I really can't figure out. She doesn't talk about her childhood that much, like what the dynamics were in her family, or yeah, I'm trying to think of like a psychoanalytic reason for this. And since she doesn't talk about her family, her childhood, I can only go for, you know, the physiological possible reason. And my case is so cute, right? It's a kind of go away. Okay, that is all.
Away. Okay. Huggy sauce. A bird and a wow. Okay, so a coffee sauce or the boom boom. Oh my God! Mommy! Can you open your video?
Ay, nako! Where are we going?
We're going to church so too.
What will be your attitude in church? You should be a good girl. Okay?
Okay.
Another book that I've been reading is called The Coworker by Freida McFadden, and I needed this book to, you know, balance out this one heavy memoir that I'm reading. And so this book actually reminds me a lot of Strange Sally Diamond because of one of the characters featured in this book. She, the coworker, okay, of the main character is called Dawn, and she is quite socially deficient, as Strange Sally Diamond would describe herself. But I think the portrayal of this kind of social distance type of thing is more realistic in Strange Sally Diamond than here in The Coworker, because in The Coworker, Dawn is sort of obsessed with wanting to be Natalie, or the main characters. That's the main character, Natalie. So Dawn wants to be friends with Dawn wants to be friends with Natalie. So there's that. And then suddenly Dawn disappears. Who discovers that she is not in her house? It's Natalie. And so Natalie gets like all twisted up, like what could have happened to Dawn. They did not have like a specifically friendly, you know, they're just co-workers. But we are also reading emails that Dawn has written, and we read from Natalie's thoughts, so her POV. Yeah, so I'm already like 80% through, I believe. Yeah, and Interesting. I did not even expect that. So I like that Freida books, they read super fast. And it's just, really entertaining. And I don't usually read Freida McFadden books because of some controversies regarding her plagiarizing other works. But now I'm starting to think, like, because I haven't read The Housemaid, but the premise sounds so much like this one book that I read, and I'm guessing it would be like the same twist. It's possible that she has taken the twist and wove it into her book, but the plot of a book can't really be stolen. So I'm going to be reading The Housemaid, and I'm gonna see for myself. Okay, although I did read The Wife Upstairs, and it was very similar to Verity, plot-wise. There's also a writer, there's also a husband, and the writer is sick, and then there's also this ghostwriter. So it's very similar to Verity. Yeah, but I'm thinking maybe she stole the plot and then wrote it in a more marketable way. Maybe. I'll have a looky-loo.
Oh my god, see? Yes, I want Mario.
Yeah, Mario?
I'm Princess Peach. Princess Peach. I want this dress.
You're playing dress up? Okay, I will buy you a Mario. Ay, nako. Anak ka. Anak ka. Okay, so I finished The Coworker and I'm giving it 3.5 stars. And this book, I would rate it lower than One by One in my Freida McFadden ranking. But that's because I read One by One. Like, the vibes just fit. And Coworker had a very good twist. Didn't see it coming. Very entertaining and very popcorn thriller-like, as you would expect from her. Yeah, but I think really the experience with reading One by One was far more enjoyable. Not to say that this book was worse than One by One. Yeah. So anyway, after you read a book, don't you get that feeling about like, what do I do now? I did get 2 new books though. One is called Mrs. March, and this went on sale for $3, so I bought it. And it is about this woman. She is a wife of an author, okay, and she believes. And she believes that her husband is writing these books. Like, there's a main character in her husband's books, and she feels that she's the main character. And I'm not sure yet exactly what is the nature of the things that are happening in the book for her to be concerned that she is the inspiration for the main character, but I kind of found that interesting. Another book that I got today is $2. And it is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. And this book was actually the winner, I believe, of what prize was that? Nobel Prize. I did not even know. Heading out to church. Almost done with the book that I'm reading. I like that it matches my curtains and my case and my dress. They match. I think I'm like 90% through. 92%. Dude, I love how crisp the screen is of the Coworker BW, and I think I finally found the e-reader for me.
Mommy, yeah. Mommy, how you fix it by yourself?
By itself?
Daddy fixed it.
Daddy fix it? Yay! Hello guys, so I finished Submit last night, and I gagged a total of like, literally gagged, okay, 3 times, especially towards the end. in the soul part, because the book is divided into mind, body, and soul. The mind part focused on how, like, her thought process as to why she is liking this kind of dynamic in terms of her sexual life. Okay, so it's like the suffering, the humiliation, that's the mind part. The body part focuses more on stories of her getting caned, like physically hurt, but also feeling transcendental, which leads into the soul part, which is like, yeah, reaching that sort of nirvana. Also part of the body, like I sort of mentioned, like the physiological thing, right? She mentioned the adrenaline that she feels whenever she knows that she's gonna get hurt sort of ups the senses, and in a way when that happens, her senses are just more open, and so it feels more pleasurable for her. So very well written. There are very like funny parts, very funnily put, but then later on there would be something freaky and disgusting for me, of course. Yeah, but overall I give it 4 stars on Goodreads. It's well written, and I really like how I got an insight about the dominant, submissive kind of people. And I guess I better end the video here. I'm gonna start a new one because I feel like I want to read a duology. Yeah, and I think the current video is running already too long. But anyway,
I do it by myself.
oh, you changed JJ's clothes?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I allowed them to like open that toy box there.
Yeah, we open the toy box.
Happy May 1st. Okay, see you.